All right, well, already back on the live stream with you as we have a severe thunderstorm warning in place for portions of Natchitoches and Sabine Parish. That will be running. I'm going to put some of this information on the screen for you. This severe thunderstorm warning will be running through 5 o'clock this evening. Wind gust up to 60 miles per hour. Of course, the primary concern with this storm as it continues tracking to the northeast. It is moving a little bit slower, so areas like Natchitoches might be about 20 minutes or so before that rain ends up reaching you. But let me go ahead get a track on this line. So this part of the storm here that is severe warned, I'm going to adjust this track here once I draw it out. It's moving northeast at about 35 miles per hour. I'm going to adjust that ever so slightly. So here is a look at the time of arrivals. Looking at this, reaching Provençal here in about 5 to 10 minutes, Powhatan in about 15 to 20 minutes, and then Natchitoches in a little closer to 25 minutes. So again, severe thunderstorm warning has been placed, or is now in effect, as we could see winds up to 60 miles per hour with this storm. Maybe some small hail, but that will stay below severe limits. There are additional severe storms that have popped up, or strengthened, I should say, just to the north. Some of these also have a tornado possible tag. So these just came down as I was going live on the stream here. So I do want to take a closer look at these individual warnings, even though they're a little beyond our area. So that one on its current track, you know, if it holds together and maintains its strength, it would be on track to impact northern portions of Natchitoches Parish. This has a lot of time to evolve. These are moving about 25 miles per hour, or that storm there in northern DeSoto Parish. This one in southern DeSoto is the one with a tornado possible tag on it, meaning that there's probably some weak rotation in the storm, and that one is a lot closer to the Sabine and Natchitoches Parish border. So let me go ahead and pull up and just kind of see. I can see definitely what they're mentioning here, both the stronger winds right now currently to the south of Pleasant Hill and Sabine Parish. And I also see just to the north of our area that broad rotation that they're talking about. So again, that's in DeSoto Parish. It's nothing incredibly strong or tight, but again, with that likely moving just north of our parish borders, but I'm going to be keeping a close watch on that one in southern DeSoto Parish. And as we head down toward Pleasant Hill again, where you start to see those brighter greens pick up on the radar, that's where we've got the strongest of the winds that are being estimated by radar. That view that you see there is a look from the Shreveport radar. From the Fort Polk radar, I've got wind estimates of about 50 miles per hour. I will go ahead and switch over behind the scenes to the Shreveport radar and kind of get a good estimate as to what it is picking up right now. Looks like it's also registering about 50 to 55 mile per hour wind. So pretty strong winds there just south of Pleasant Hill in Sabine Parish. Again, that storm is moving off to the northeast at about 35 miles per hour. So we'll actually track just the strongest of the winds here on the map. I'm going to go ahead and grab my little tool here. We'll go ahead and put a track on some of those winds. So again, this is going to take it into portions of Red River Parish, so just outside of our area, and then eventually try to redraw that track. And then eventually back into Natchitoches Parish, which does put it back in our area. So let's try this again. Again, strongest of the winds there just south of Pleasant Hill. These are moving northeast at about 35 miles per hour. As you see on its current path, that would take it into Marthaville in less than 5 minutes, Ajax in about 10 to 15 minutes, and again, that's on the north side of Natchitoches Parish. Powhatan in about 30 minutes, and then eventually Skidder. That's well beyond the warning and in about an hour from now. So a lot of time for things to change there. So going to be tracking that storm again very closely. The other one to watch here is the one in southern DeSoto Parish. It's in DeSoto Parish, very close to the Sabine Parish line, but likely not to impact Sabine Parish. It is severe warned and also has some very broad rotation there. Gonna have to watch it as it continues going closer to Natchitoches Parish, provided that it stays strong really in that northeastern corner of the parish. So for those just joining, we're back on our live streams, and feel free to ask any questions in our live stream. You can watch this coverage not on NBC, but you can watch it on your smart TV if you have a Roku, Fire TV, or Apple TV device. You can watch for free on the KALB News app. You can also leave your questions in our Facebook comments, and again, I'll get to those here in just a minute. I see Timothy saying that Sabine needed this rain. Sabine Parish needed the rain. Yes, we need as much rain as we can get. As long as we can skip out on the severe weather as much as we can, that would be the best case for us today. For those just joining, getting back on the live stream as we have a severe thunderstorm warning in Sabine Parish, but also want to let you know what's going on across the rest of Central Louisiana. I mentioned, if you were watching the first time I was live here a few minutes ago, that I was watching the storm in Sabine and Natchitoches Parish, and then kind of this cluster here in northwest Louisiana going back out into deep East Texas. And it's really these in deep East Texas we'll have to watch, see if they hold together as they continue moving off to the northeast. There are some additional little spotty showers and storms across Central Louisiana, as you can see here, some in LaSalle, Wynne, Grant, even back into Vernon, Rapides, Allen. These are not super strong and they're not severe at this time, so those are not a big concern for me at this point, not a big concern for us in the area. It's really those, again, in deep East Texas, east of Lufkin, that you see on your map with all those white boxes. And then that one that we have, Sabine, Natchitoches Parish, and those kind of near it are the strongest or severe at this point, and the ones that we'll have to keep tabs on the closest. To our north, you'll see there's kind of a gap. We've got, might be hard to see, I'll make it full screen to make it as visible as possible. Again, not too concerned about these. It's really this pocket here, and then these up to the north, even kind of covered by the banner in southern Arkansas. And then right along I-20, there's kind of a gap where there's just not much in the way of strong to severe storms at this point, maybe some light to moderate rain. That's kind of what we've been dealing with across Central Louisiana today. In fact, the area that I'm circling here, again, not super concerned about stronger or severe storms at this time, but we do have some light to moderate rain that's ongoing right now in portions of Central Louisiana that are bringing us some nice and much needed rain, but not so much the strong to severe storm activity. So just kind of taking a look here at some new information coming in. Remove that. And we'll actually go back into that Natchitoches Parish storm. I see that I have a question about it. Or actually, quickly, I'll touch on Alexandria. See, I've got a question over here about Alexandria as well. That will be the quicker one to answer. So Suzanne is asking about Alexandria specifically. I'll zoom into Rapides Parish so you can see kind of the loop of the last 3 hours. We've got some storms there, little pop-up storms firing up near the Fort Polk radar and in portions of western Rapides Parish. So we could see some light to moderate rain here shortly. At this time, it's saying that this one here right on top of the radar is trying to strengthen some. It's not strong at this point. It's not severe. We'll be watching it, but most of the little isolated storms that we've got going on out there are not a huge concern at this time. It's really what's coming later on that we'll have to monitor a little more closely. Then Jessica's asking about Natchitoches. That's where we've got that severe thunderstorm warning right now. I even got word from one of our reporters that's out there that the sirens were going off. There is no tornado warning in Natchitoches Parish at this time. I do want to mention that up front and emphasize that. The severe thunderstorm warning is in place for winds up to 60 miles per hour, but again, not looking at a tornado threat there at this point. To answer your question, though, I am also watching this storm here in DeSoto Parish, so it's a little bit outside of our Central Louisiana viewing area. It has some weak rotation in it, but it's kind of moving to the east-northeast. If it were to strengthen and try to spin something up, it wouldn't be on track to impact the city of Natchitoches, just northeastern portions of Natchitoches Parish. Still got a long way to travel. It's moving kind of slow, so a lot of time for it to evolve. I don't want to speculate or get too far ahead of things with these storms this afternoon. But out in Natchitoches, severe weather, y'all are under that severe thunderstorm warning right now. That severe thunderstorm warning is in effect till 5 p.m., I believe. Let me go and bring that information back up. It's till 5 p.m., and that, of course, is for those 60-mile-per-hour winds. Hail, small hail is possible with this, likely to stay below severe limits, which is 1 inch in diameter. The strongest of the winds I was tracking a moment ago were just to the south of Pleasant Hill. Let me bring those back up again on radar. And they will be moving into northwestern portions of Natchitoches Parish here very shortly. And I'm going to track out where the strongest of those winds are. Let me zoom this out a little bit and get rid of that Pleasant Hill label. And let's go ahead and put a track. So we see that bright pink. That's where we've got the strongest winds at this point. So that's the part of the storm that I'm going to track out. I'm going to make some minor adjustments there to that cone. So that puts strong winds in Ajax here in about 8 minutes, Piermont in about 23 minutes, and then the other locations are well beyond the severe warning. Now again, that there is just a track of the strongest of the winds where we most likely have 50 to 60 mile per hour winds in the storm. Let's go back to radar here. I'm actually going to turn on lightning briefly, and you can see we've got a good bit of lightning just to the north of Sabine and Natchitoches Parish and DeSoto Parish. That'll be moving into Red River. You'll hear that thunder at least in northern parts of both of those parishes. We've got some lightning strikes going on in Sabine and Natchitoches Parish as well, along with that severe thunderstorm warning. We'll go ahead and take some of that off. You'll notice heavy rain there moving into the city of Natchitoches here very shortly, kind of broken off from that cluster of and that chunk of heavy rain that you see out toward Pleasant Hill and also out toward Louisiana Highway 174, 487, and then this heavy rain will be moving into Powhatan here very shortly. So again, where we've got that pocket of stronger winds near Pleasant Hill, this is a very kind of confined area on the northern part of that severe thunderstorm warning box. Not to say that we couldn't see the rest of that storm try to throw in some gusty winds in there as well, but again, the strongest of the winds are near Pleasant Hill and kind of on the path that I've drawn there on the screen for you. Looks like we're getting some updates to the tornado watch. I believe the Weather Service in Shreveport had mentioned that they are going to allow some parishes, or counties I should say, to expire, all of that being in eastern Texas. And they've also gone ahead, just got a text here that they've extended the area on this or on the tornado watch. Not sure that it's going to show up on my map just yet, but that if I had to guess, that's probably going to expand out to include Wynn, Grant, and LaSalle Parish. Let me see if our tornado watch graphic is updated here yet. It has not. Sometimes when a watch is locally extended, our system likes to slow down trying to get that information out. So let me see. So it's definitely been extended for LaSalle and Wynn. Looks like we also just had what we call a mesoscale discussion come in. Sometimes that will give us a heads up on additional watches to come. Okay, so yes, that tornado watch has been extended. It is not showing up here on your screen, so I'll go ahead and just circle it here, kind of do the best I can with what I have. The tornado watch has just been extended, so it includes Sabine and Natchitoches Parish still through 9 p.m. It has also been expanded to include Wynn, Grant, and LaSalle Parish in Central Louisiana. And if I happen to have anybody watching from areas north, it includes the western half of the Arklamis or northeastern Louisiana. So that goes all the way up through I-20 and into southern Arkansas as well. So for Central Louisiana, again, not on the map there, but I circled it there best I could. In addition to Sabine and Natchitoches Parish being under that watch until 9, Wynn, Grant, and LaSalle have also been included in the tornado watch that runs through 9 p.m. this evening. We'll go back to first alert radar here. I'm going to let it loop. I have a couple questions here I see off to the side. I will answer. Chris Carpenter asking what it is looking like for the Leesville and Nulano area. Right now we've got a couple little pop-up storms there across Vernon Parish, just some light to moderate rain coming into South Fort Polk, kind of right there along 171 as you can see there. Not any kind of immediate threat for strong to severe storms. Of course that threat is there and will continue until we see kind of a line of storms roll through later tonight out ahead of our next cold front. Make that full screen there here for just a second while I take a look at some new information here to the side and kind of see if we're getting a heads up about another kind of watch extension. It looks like what they have put out is in reference to the existing tornado watch. Scattered severe storms will likely continue across northwest Louisiana, extreme east Texas over the coming hours. There is some atmospheric recovery expected. This is something I've been looking at. One of the big questions in the forecast is, are these little pop-up storms we're seeing out ahead of the main line going to stabilize our atmosphere enough to keep us from seeing stronger storms later on in the day? That's a possibility. The National Weather Service saying that some recovery is possible across portions of Louisiana. We might need a new tornado watch because, of course, at this time, the one that's there goes through 9. And the line of storms we're not expecting to roll through our area until later on in the evening, 10, midnight, 2 a.m. before we finally start to see that line wrap up. Do you think severe storms will gradually weaken as we go later into the night tonight? But of course that threat is still going to be there for a little while longer. I see Brent is asking about Rose Pine. Probably a good time to kind of go through the timing here. Right now, first alert radar, Rose Pine and No Southern Vernon Parish. You got a few pop-up storms. These aren't strong or severe, what's kind of south of Fort Polk that you see there on your screen. But of course, the threat for severe weather not going to be over and finished for everybody until that line moves through out ahead of the cold front that we'll see later on this evening. So let's go ahead. For those just joining, if you didn't catch the live stream earlier today, I want to walk through the timing here once again for storms. So you'll see here 4 o'clock, we're about 4:45, 5 p.m. And this is what we call, since this is what's happening right now, we call this model, when the model initializes, where it starts. And you can see that it looks very similar to what's out there on radar. That's a good thing. That means we're off to a good start here with the data this evening. Now, as we go a little bit later on, 6, 7, 8 o'clock tonight, you'll notice those isolated storms kind of continuing in portions of central Louisiana. Most stay just to our north or just to our south. As you can see, there's some hovering over I-20, others hovering there close to Interstate 10. I'm going to go back. We'll take this hour by hour. Here's a look at things 9, 10 o'clock. That line of storms starts to enter our northwestern area, Sabine and Natchitoches Parish. From there, we'll go to about 11 p.m. to midnight. See, 11 p.m., these are getting closer to Wynn, Grant Parish, southern end of Natchitoches, and everything on the timeline here I'm mentioning is kind of plus or minus an hour. It's not going to be perfect. This is just strictly a model that we're looking at here. But again, as that front continues moving, I agree largely with this timing. You'll see by midnight, that line kind of moves through Alexandria, kind of Vernon Parish out toward Fort Polk, Leesville. Then by midnight, 1 a.m., it starts moving a little further to the south. By 2 to 3 a.m., what's left of that line continues pushing off to the southeast. We'll go ahead and pull back up the radar here for just a second. I see Evelyn here has a quick report that the rain is over in Manny. And yes, y'all are starting to dry out. That severe thunderstorm warning will likely be modified here, Manny being trimmed out of that, or maybe even allowed to expire here. It's got about 12 more minutes on it, but yes, things are wrapping up in Manny here for the time being. Got some information here from the Weather Service I need to read over here briefly. And it looks like I'll kind of point out what's being mentioned here. So the Weather Service office in Shreveport covers some of our area. I'll kind of do my best to draw out the boundary here. Okay, so I'm going to draw an X over the areas to kind of ignore. So right here where I'm circling, in our area, the National Weather Service covers those parishes. So that's Sabine, Natchitoches, Wynn, Grant, and LaSalle Parish. Everyone to the south, so Vernon, Rapides, Avoyelles, and our southern parishes are covered by the National Weather Service in Lake Charles. So the Weather Service just mentioned they're about to put out a new severe thunderstorm warning, and there it is on the map. They mentioned potentially having to do one large severe thunderstorm warning to kind of cover the 3 that are in place currently. So this does include portions of Natchitoches Parish, a very small portion. I'll actually switch things over to the Shreveport radar since we're a little closer with where the storms are now. I'll go ahead and pull some information for you on this. 60-mile-per-hour winds and hail up to quarter size possible with this storm. This new warning coming through 5:45 this evening. And you'll see what I mean. So I'll zoom in to Natchitoches Parish specifically, and you can see whenever it lights up and kind of highlights the warning. Move that out of the way. It's really Ashland is included in that. Very, very small sliver of Natchitoches Parish. So hopefully I'll be able to wrap up our live stream here fairly quickly. The greatest severe threat is going to be in Red River Parish. I believe that's Bienville as well. So mainly Red River and Bienville Parish is where most of the threat sticks with this new warning. Because you can see a little further to the south, there's some heavy rain out in Natchitoches right now. But the strongest part of the storm is really right on the Natchitoches-Red River border at this point. So that's good news for our area in central Louisiana. Again, that these storms are kind of moving now at this point a little more to the north. So go ahead and track this out just in case you have any friends or family just across our borders in portions of Red River Parish, maybe Bienville. That latest severe thunderstorm warning. And again, it does include a very, very small sliver of Natchitoches. So we'll stay here with you for a couple minutes just to wait to see how this evolves, but we'll likely be getting off here and taking a break here for the short term until any other stronger to severe storms pop up on the radar. So you can see here the estimated times of arrival of those storms. And again, most of these areas are outside of central Louisiana. The closest one is Martin in Red River Parish, and that's very close to the Natchitoches Parish line. So you can see there, severe thunderstorm, or that severe thunderstorm will be heading toward Martin in about 9 minutes. Again, that's kind of the best estimated time of arrival there for extreme northern Natchitoches Parish. That small sliver there included in the warning. Hall Summit in about 16 minutes. Ringgold, that gets way far to the north in about 33 minutes, and that is about the northern extent of that warning. I do see a couple questions over here, and don't worry, I'll get to those in just a second. Had to take a quick little water break. Let me clear everything off the map here and reset our view for Central Louisiana. I'll kind of loop the radar there so y'all can see what the last 3 hours has been looking like across the area. So first question here also comes from Brent. Do I think that Rose Pine will see tornadoes? It's hard to really pinpoint if a specific location is going to see a tornado or not, or see rotation over them. The chance is there. The chance is a lot lower, though, than the damaging wind threat. In fact, in the state of Louisiana so far today, knock on wood here so I don't jinx this, but so far in the state of Louisiana, we have not seen a tornado warning so far today. That could change. The chance is there for a brief spin-up tornado. Again, exactly where, we just don't have the technology and the advancements to really say, but the threat's there area-wide, so we'll have to watch that, but the chance is very low. The greater chance is for those that see severe storms, and not everybody's going to see strong or severe storms. Damaging winds is really going to be the main threat, as we're seeing with the ongoing strong storms that have been in or just north of our area. The next question is from Layla. How's Alexandria looking? Well, right now we've got a little bit more rain heading our way, or kind of close to our side of the parish. Kind of zoom things in here on the map for you. You switch things back over to Fort Polk. So here's, I know that was terrible. Here's a look at that rain I'm talking about, kind of west of I-49. Some of that may make it into Alexandria. Of course, we could see additional little pop-up storms try to fire up throughout the afternoon, throughout the evening. So far, haven't seen much in the way of strong storms on the east side of Interstate 49. So far, eventually our threat will start picking up, and I'll be watching that pretty closely. For us in Alexandria in northern Rapides Parish, really going to be watching things later tonight, closer to midnight, as that main line of storms moves through the area. In fact, see if I can move that back a little bit. Let's go in here to a local view. So as you can see, that line getting a lot closer to us, 11 p.m. to midnight tonight, and I think that's when our better threat for severe weather is in the Alexandria area specifically. All right, so I'm going to leave the radar here going for a couple minutes. I'm staying here with you. But with that said, let me get a quick update here on what's going on from the National Weather Service. So I'm still here, just kind of reading over a couple things. So I do want to reiterate that the chance for an isolated spin-up tornado or two is there, but it is a very low risk. Again, that means we might have a tornado warning or two. It's going to be hard to pinpoint where. It is a possibility, not a certainty. Again, even severe storms, not everybody sees severe weather today. I don't want to put anybody in a panic. Just a reminder, though, that as we go into the evening and overnight hours, to make sure that you have a way to receive alerts on your phone, on your weather radio, and be ready to take shelter. You know, have that safe place ready to go. But again, not everybody's going to see severe storms today. Not everybody's going to see an isolated tornado. Very few will end up seeing an isolated tornado today. See, Millie's asking about Mansura out in Moyles Parish. We'll talk about Mansura here real briefly. Go ahead and kind of pull future cast up. So we'll have these hit and miss storms here for the next couple of hours. And then as we head into the overnight hours, that's where that line of storms starts to roll through. For y'all in Mansura and in Avoyles Parish in general, y'all are looking kind of getting that line around 1 to 3 a.m. during the overnight hours. So again, going to be late. Try to get as much rest as you can. Again, not everybody's going to be dealing with severe storms, but leave your phone on ring. Have a way to receive alerts on your phone. In fact, let's see if I can pull something up here. Actually use this here as a better, I'm going to show you all a little trick here, and I probably need to set it up myself here on my own phone. So let me see if I can actually switch our camera over. Give me 1 second. So when it comes to alerts, you may want the alerts turned on your phone so they can wake you up in the event of a severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning. You don't want to get all those other messages in the night. If you leave your phone on ring, it'll keep you up. So I've got actually a pretty good solution to show you here. I have an iPhone, and I think Androids probably have a very similar feature. But if you head into your settings app, let me zoom this in here, our camera, so you can see it a little bit better. I'll walk through that here in just a moment. Let me put it back on radar so that way I can keep things going. But again, once I get our camera here situated, I will show you here in just a minute how you can, on your phone, set it up where you can have your weather alerts turned on. You can leave your phone on ring but not be disturbed by all your other notifications during the overnight hours. So that's a big thing with storm threats, of course, especially during the overnight hours. Almost got my camera here situated, just zooming it in to make sure you get a good view of what my screen looks like. All right, here we go. So let me show you how to do this. This is a pretty cool feature. You can do this for any app on your phone that you'd like, but I'm going to show you specifically with the KALB weather app. So if you have your alerts on for your location, you can rest easy tonight, leave your phone on ring and on do not disturb, but if there's a warning, you can be notified about it. So first we're going to go to our settings app, and you're going to scroll down a little bit to where it says focus. When you tap on focus, you'll have several different options. The one that's already set up by default is do not disturb, and that's probably the one I personally use the most. So for example, I already have the phone app set, but I'm going to tap on this app section. And from there, I'm going to tap on add app. Give me a list of my apps here in alphabetical order, and I'm going to go down to the K's so I can enable the KALB weather app. So make sure it has that blue check mark by it and click done. And now the KALB weather app will override my do not disturb. You also want to make sure that the allow notifications from is checked instead of silence notifications from. So now that I have that set up, if I were to turn my phone on ring and leave it during the overnight hours and put it on do not disturb, I'll miss all my other 9 billion app notifications, but still get severe weather alerts from the KALB weather app. Now, another thing that I will mention too, because there are multiple types of alerts in the weather app that you might not want waking you up as you go throughout the night. I want to show you how to customize your alerts here on the First Alert weather app as well. So you open the app, and this is the screen that you have. Of course, you see your current conditions. You've got your hourly forecast. You can even look through First Alert radar, see where the storms are, active watches, warnings. Always track the storms right here in the palm of your hand. We want to stay on this home page, and we immediately want to go to the top right where you see that kind of sandwich menu. You'll tap on that and click on the settings option. So when that's pulled up, the KALB weather alerts, these are alerts that we send manually. So when we send a video update out to you, that's what that means. If you want to get notified when we put out an update from the team, you'll want that turned on. And then weather notification types, this is where a lot of your customization is going to be. So if you wanted to alert you overnight to severe thunderstorm watches and warnings, but not when there's heavy rain in your area or there's lightning, you have the ability to customize what you would like turned on and off. Anything that you see here with an arrow has a drop-down menu, and you can customize even further. So maybe you don't want to know when a watch is issued, but you do want to know when a warning's put out for your location. You can uncheck the watches and leave the warnings checked. For me, I want them all checked, especially if I'm traveling. The KALB weather app, of course, follows you as well and will alert you to the latest going on, no matter where you are across the United States. So there's a look at how to customize your alerts. Of course, for me personally, if it's not severe, when it's raining outside, I don't want it to let me know at 3 a.m. that it's raining, but for now, I'll turn that back on. So again, that's kind of a way that you can customize your alerts to alert you during the overnight hours, leave your phone on ring, but not receive all the other notifications on your phone as well. We'll go back over to radar here real quick, kind of wrap things up, as the severe threat is now mainly just outside of central Louisiana at this point. Again, we've got that severe thunderstorm warning left that really just barely clips portions of Natchitoches Parish. And again, most of that's impacting Coshada, the Hall Summit area, out in Red River Parish, and eventually on track to move into Bienville Parish. Let's go back, reset everything once again. The rest of the little isolated and scattered storms that we have on radar are not severe at this time, not a big concern. Of course, I'm going to be keeping an eye on these over the next couple of hours, and of course, the severe threat's not over till that main line moves through tonight. I I'm sure I'll be with you here a couple times tonight with some stronger storms, giving you updates on that, and I'll have your forecast coming up for you tonight at 10. All right, thank you so much for joining me, and like I said, be on the lookout. Have the KALB News app downloaded. When you get the notification that I'm live, you can pull it up on your smart TV through the free KALB News app as well. Don't have to sign up or anything. It's a completely free download, and of course, I'll also be answering your questions as we go throughout, or if I'm on an additional live stream, be answering your questions throughout the evening as well. All right, thank you for joining me, and hopefully I don't have to see you back here for a severe weather update, but I'll be here if strong storms strike. If not, I'll see you tonight at 10.